If the devil went down to Georgia, he must have laid out a diabolical racetrack and rode Atlanta while he was there. Hopefully our drivers have a golden fiddle in their back pocket as we get ready for the Porsche Sprint Challenge North America Cayman Series by Yokohama. I'm Joe Peak, and with me in the booth is former racer Joey Atterbury and sports car racer Ashley Freiberg. Joey, pushing right up to the edge here is going to be a serious test.
I love this place, and I mean, what a great weekend to be out here in Georgia. It's going to be, call it mid-low 80s in terms of that ambient air temperature. We're kicking things off with some qualifying sessions here before lunch, and then we got a packed schedule this afternoon filled with 3 races. I know a bunch of races tomorrow, and of course that endurance challenge event on Sunday as well.
As we see the cars on their outlet heading towards the chicane at the bottom of the hill, Ashley, every driver I've been talking to has just been nothing but praise about this track. It sounds like an adventure to lap around here.
This track is so much fun. It's definitely a very classic racetrack. It's built around the elevation, so especially you see them coming up over the hill down into this final corner here where that pit entry is. It's one of the most gnarly corners on this track, but I mean, it's just a lot of fun, a lot of high-speed corners, a lot of flow, interconnected corners, and then that corner leading down onto the back straightaway, turn number 7. You want to make sure you get a really good run coming out of there. It's a very much an exit speed corner. So it's definitely an all-around challenging racetrack and a lot of fun.
Obviously, this is our first session of the morning, so we still get quite a bit of it in the shade, but the sun will continue to rise, and that'll start to raise those track temperatures bit by bit over the course of the session. Now, the big talking point with this being the last 2 races of the season means that championships are up for grabs. But for our Caymans, it is only the Masters that is able to be changed from here. And it is going to be Scalzo versus Kopczynski. I believe Bill Finnick is still mathematically in it, but it's going to be a lot more harder for him to catch up to Scalzo. So we'll see how it plays out. But first, we have to get a lap time down here, Joey. And more than that, we need 2 lap times.
You're right, because we've got, of course, race 1 this afternoon, and like I was mentioning, race 2 for this same run group is going to be tomorrow. So you need both of those qualifying lap times in. Obviously, one's going to be a little bit faster than the other, but that second qualifying time will set the grid for that second race.
Watching the 30 come around here towards the end of the lap and up and over the hill. First times down, looks like Jens Hansen setting a 1:27.0, Scalzo with a 28.4. Decent gap between P1 and P2, and that's both our Pro-Am and Masters pole sitters for the time being. But we're still waiting for a lot of cars to set one. Ashley, how important is the qualifying going to be here for this place? Is it easy to pass?
You know, it's tough to say. I mean, there's certainly a lot of higher speed corners, so it will be a bit challenging to pass in some areas. But if you're really strong, like in this area right here we see on the screen, turn number 7 leaving down into turn 10A and 10B, that is a really good brake zone into 10A and 10B where you can make some passes happen. But otherwise, you're kind of stuck behind the car in front of you. So I would say qualifying might be pretty important today.
We saw Anna Checki out there in the 27 and now in the yellow full-time. She was in her blue car for much of the season, has swapped over to what was her dad's car. But Greg is back inside his own 72 and in different colors now. So we'll have to try and make sure we don't get confused as we watch the 26 come down the hill. And Scalzo trying to improve on that. Oh, we got a yellow flag out there somewhere.
Yeah, I just noticed maybe off course in turn number 1 it shows, and I do see a standing yellow down there at turn number 1. I don't see any cars out there on driver's left, so I'm not exactly sure where this is, and now we go full red flag. That means we're going to be bringing in all of these cars, and probably a little bit of a frustrating moment for some of these drivers as they've already kind of coming down the hill to complete that lap. But hey, when the red flag comes out, that means stop.
I don't see any cars on
I think it might be the 62 right here that we're watching, maybe the 26 car. Race control says 62, but the 26 seems to be going a little bit slowly, but I'm not sure if this is red flag slow or not.
62's Pelichewski. So, yeah, I didn't see a car stopped on our marching ants. So this interrupts what is already a relatively short qualifying. Thankfully, the laps around here aren't all that long. So here's on board with Bill Pelichewski. Whatever happened, he's managed to get it going.
Yeah, and the way that he's driving it, it certainly seems it's at 100%, right? Look at it. He's full throttle down the back straightaway, clicking up through fourth gear, going up through fifth gear. So I'm not sure if there was any damage per se on this car. Yeah, a little bit of a mystery for us right now.
I mean, I guess the good news, Ashley, is if he can get it out and it's okay, he can continue to drive it, he's going to need to because his 2 fastest laps should get deleted for bringing out the red.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this plays out, but thankfully there was no damage on the car. Turn 1 can definitely be pretty gnarly, so it's good to see cars still rolling here. Nothing severe. That we're taking a peek here as these cars roll into pit lane.
So we got Bill's coming up to us here. He's in the Cookie Monster car once again.
You know, and my eyes were drawn to the 26, but no, the 62 has a grill full of grass.
Grass, yeah.
So it was definitely the 62 that went off. My eyes were drawn to the 26 because the right front headlight on the 26 was out. It only showed one headlight, so I was kind of wondering if there was maybe an issue there. But no, it was definitely the 62 that was packed full of grass.
Are you suspecting maybe contact was
No,
involved?
no.
Okay.
I just, you try to kind of piece together what happened out there, and if a car made it to the tire barrier, it might have had a little bit of an impact, but I don't think that's what happened out there.
We do have a pit lane.
Oh, yeah, and Joe, look at the right side here on the 62, the wing.
Oh, we didn't catch that. Yeah, so yeah, I don't know if he'll be allowed to take that back out, and the crew is obviously inspecting everything as much as they can. As long as there's no debris or barriers that have been moved, this should be a quick fix that they can raise the green flag, send them back out. But we're already down to 17 minutes left to go, and we're missing times from looks to be about 8 or 9 cars.
And one of those cars that has not put down a lap time yet, I'm seeing Lonnie Unser, that white and purple number 4 car, has not been able to set a lap time. But great news, we're already back green flag, so with 17 minutes remaining, I don't think that there's going to be a time constraint for anybody.
Yep, that's good to see. All right, so it just takes away a few opportunities. Does cool the tires down a bit. Maybe that'll help as we see them head down through the S's here up towards turn 5. There is Lonnie on our screens now, and we'll see that right-hander here at the end of the S's coming up the hill and then off towards turn 6. I know in the sim, I always found that turn 5 a little bit tricky. What's it like in real life, Ashley?
It's a lot of fun, I think. I mean, it's really steep uphill. It doesn't really look like it from the car, from the simulator, but if you go walk the track, turn 5, the entire corner is really steep uphill. So you can carry a lot of speed in there, but it is still an exit speed corner because it leads onto a straightaway. So it's definitely tough to get it just right. The brake zone, you're turning a little bit at the same time. So it's definitely tricky, but it's fun.
All right, so she now heads down the back straightaway. Long back straight here. We'll see drivers using the slipstream, no doubt, throughout the weekend. And down into the braking of the chicane as we follow her up to the hill. And then we'll be able to see her from our booth come into view, just getting ready to start the lap. And it does look like she is on it.
So she'll start this 2.5 mile, 12 turn lap here at Road Atlanta. Turn number 1 is always so fast. You see, not on the brakes for very long, and it's really not a threshold brake zone either. It's kind of more just kind of slowing the car down and then really balancing it through that incredibly fast right-hander. And now we really get to see some of the elevation changes here at this track in Georgia. So much downhill through the S's, and here's that turn number 5 where we just heard Ashley say really digs the car in up the hill, and exit speed is always so important.
Well, up towards turn 6, a couple cars just getting out of the way, trying to carry that speed through the banked right-hander, and then up into turn 7. Perhaps, Ashley, one of the most important corners on this track.
Yeah, it's funny because a lot of this track is very much flow, very much high speed, and then you really have to basically what feels like park the car in turn 7 in order to get that exit run coming out. So you can see it's a super long straightaway, heading down into turn 10. Turn 10, huge brake zone. This will be a great passing opportunity into that chicane, which then starts to go pretty steep back uphill. You can see Erica trailing. Oh, sorry, that's not Erica there. But coming up down into the final turn here, it's definitely really, really fast and really, really sketchy. I think it's probably barely a lift off the throttle through this final corner.
Yeah, that was Jens Hansen, who's still our provisional pole sitter. It's now by only 1/10 of a second, actually. Spencer Proper. Wow, we don't typically see him up this high, but it's still early in the session. Still, if he can stay even close to Jens Hansen like this is great.
If we rewind time just back a couple weeks, remember Spencer just had his first podium of the season back at Watkins Glen, so another very fast racetrack. And I don't know if you all saw that, but the number 12 was definitely having a loose moment coming into turn number 5. I have a feeling we're going to be talking about that corner at the bottom of the hill all weekend. You got apex curbs, you got entry curbs, you got exit curbs that you got to run up all on, and it is one of these corners that you really have to nail in terms of your lap time out there. So the number 12 car, which is your provisional pole sitter, still out there pushing it.
Well, his first sector was purple. Should be going through the second sector timing loop here pretty soon. We'll see if it's another good one. He was about 3-4 tenths quicker than Proper on that first sector. Second one didn't even set a personal best. That's interesting. And Anna Checki has now taken the provisional pole by about 1,500ths over Jens.
I was going back and looking at some of the practice times from yesterday. I think the fastest Caymans were down in the 26s. Now, it is obviously the morning here at Road Atlanta. I expect all these cars to kind of be on top of that performance margin. And just as I say that, Jens Hansen puts in our fastest lap of 126.7.
And was it you, Joey, that was just saying that Jens was looking a little bit sketchy in turn 5? Because the sector 2 is the only blip. Otherwise, he was purple in the other two.
Yeah, coming into turn number 5, he had a big wiggle moment, which kind of put him right in the middle of the racetrack for turn in. Obviously, still was a fast lap time, but the driver knows there's still more to go.
Looks like our pole sitter actually right now is the number 40 of Grant. In the Masters category, that's third overall. Bill Fennick sitting second. Scalzo surprisingly looking like he's struggling a little bit, Ashley. He's all the way, well, he just jumped up to 8th, but it was only one position. It was over a Pro-Am. He seems to run a little bit hot or cold sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, he's still P3 in the Masters, so overall in his class, he's doing a pretty good job, but I mean, if this is his first time to this track, it can definitely be a little bit daunting your first time through. And essentially from turn 1 all the way through turn 5, I treat that as one entire corner because you're constantly turning. You're never straight. So really trying to piece it all together here is just really challenging. But I feel like he's going to pull it out later in the race.
I'm massively impressed, Joey, with Anna Checki. It's a quarter of a second off of Hansen. It was a quarter of a second. Now it's 7/10, but still, that latest lap, I mean, she was pretty competitive. We'll see if she answers because she is on another time around here.
Yeah, and once again, I just like to kind of reference all of the practice times and qualifying where the drivers kind of stack themselves up. And you're right, this is a great performance out of Anna Checki. She's kind of been sitting in the middle of the pack in those results for practice, but evidently has turned up this morning here, this Friday morning at Road Atlanta. I can't wait to see what that yellow and white number 27 is going to provide for us. Some excitement in the race, I'm sure.
And Hoffman is now up into that front row, about half a second behind Jens Hansen, who has already wrapped up the Pro-Am Championship here in the Cayman. So mathematically, nobody can catch him. We'll, of course, crown him once we get to the end of the second race tomorrow afternoon. In the meantime, as we watch the 21 come down the hill here, Erica Hoffman needing 0.5 of a second. First sector was not looking anything impressive out there, 34.5, 30.4. So a decent second sector. She might be getting ready for a good lap. I'm not sure if she's on a back-off lap here.
Well, let's just kind of watch the attitude of the car, right? So here is the 21 coming up over the hill of what is, call it turn number 11, and then down the hill into turn number 12, our final corner here at Road Atlanta. She does not improve that lap time, so it doesn't look like that was going to be a flyer. Nice and balanced on the brakes into turn number 1, dragging that nose into the apex there, and now she sets off up the hill towards turn number 3. We don't get a good sense of the elevation from this overhead shot, but trust me, it is up over crest at turn number 3, and it can make turn in and apex so tricky, you just kind of have to commit to the corner and hope you land on the pavement.
Keith Grant, who has not been here for any of the rest of the season, I believe, really impressing up on the provisional pole for the Masters still, and 3rd overall. Next car down, you have to go all the way to 7th for Bill Finnick. So he's going to have some serious separation unless some of the Masters drivers can start to catch him up in these last 9 minutes.
And I saw that Fennick was actually in pit lane not too long ago, and actually I look down there right now, and he has parked the car. So I feel like this is kind of that point in qualifying where it's about halfway through, right? We had a little bit of a red flag, so just call it a couple minutes of time loss. And if these drivers have gone out there and turned their 2 qualifying laps and they feel like they've got a good effort in, they can go ahead and save those Yokohama tires for the race.
Hoffman down through the chicane of 10A and 10B. Over the blind crest into the final turn. Well, she's actually going to bring it down into pit lane. So she commits early and hits the pit lane speed limiter marker, so doesn't want to get any sort of penalty for that one. In the meantime, we're seeing more and more cars come into pit lane. Hansen is in there. It looks like Anna Checki was a couple moments ago. Spencer Proper, Bill Finnick, Elaine Scalzo. Still have Keith Grant out there. It looks like Lonnie Unser trying to improve. She's on the outside of the 2nd row right now, Ashley. So she is separated by Grant, but she's still 3rd in class.
Yeah, I've noticed these last few laps, she's slowly ticking away and working her way up the field, but it looks like this most recent lap here, she wasn't quite as quick in her first sector. She was off it by about a half a second, so she might be doing a cool down lap. It'll be interesting to see if she comes into pit lane or if this is just a cool down to try to go for another flyer.
So this is the 40 of Keith Grant that we're following coming down the back straightaway here, starting to pick up speed. Like I said, well ahead of anybody else. And set a personal best in the first sector. Does not improve in the second sector. Looks like it's about maybe 3/10 off of the best overall into there. So it might come down to this last sector as he needs about 6/10 to catch up to Hoffman and take that front row spot overall. And track position is important, even if you're only overtaking others in outside of your class, but he does not improve. He stays 3rd.
Yeah, I think it was actually his fastest lap time, but you're right, he does not improve, but it was a 126.9. And I give a shout out here to this number 40 driver. Typically, Keith Grant's not with us all the time, and here he is showing up in that Cayman Masters class, kind of sticking it to everybody. I'm sure the regulars like Fennick and Scalzo are going to realize this on the timesheets and be like, all right, time to step it up even more.
Yeah, and like I said, I mean, there's a championship on the line, so it changes the equation a little bit if he's stealing away points.
Yeah.
But mostly, I think that'll be a concern for Bill Finnick. Scalzo has a decent gap at this point. In fact, I believe from my math, and I need to double check on this, 4th or better in the first race will clinch for Scalzo, and he can't be caught. But, I mean, there's a lot that can happen, so it ain't over till it's over.
So I'm looking at our timesheet here. In second place, overall, Erica Hoffman, 26.8. Then I look at the series of next drivers. 6 100s back to Keith Grant, 6 100s back to Lonnie Unser, 5 100s back to Anna Checki, only a 1/10 of a second back to Spencer Proper, 2 100ths of a second back to Bill Fennick. So, I mean, we've got, call it 5 or 6 drivers that are only separated by, what, a 1/4 of a second out there.
No, that's super competitive. I mean, like you're saying, the top 7 are all within a second. And, I mean, if you think about 100th of a second, when we blink our eye, that's maybe a 1/10, a couple 10ths of a second. So think about how precise and how close that is between drivers. I mean, definitely the race today will be very exciting.
And to your point, I always try to visualize it, right? We've got a 2.5-mile racetrack. It's 1:26 seconds. So, yeah, a 1/10 of a second. How much of a physical track difference is that? I mean, we're talking about inches at that point. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Certainly going to be close racing out here from what we're seeing on the timing sheets at this stage. Hoffman and Unser are both back out on track and on their out lap. We got a couple other drivers that are carrying on. Crines and Rizzo look like they're still circulating. 4 minutes left, and a lot of them parked in pit lane. Now, there is time if they are wanting to maybe just tweak pressures and get back out there, but I'm not seeing a whole lot of movement on pit lane currently.
The biggest question mark for me is this car that we've got our cameras on right here, the white and purple number 4. This shows to be an out lap right now for Lonnie Unser, so she is back out there. She feels that she's got a little bit more time in this car right now.
I mean, might as well try for it. She wants to try and see if she can take another victory over Hansen. She finally got her first win of her Porsche Sprint Challenge career in the Cayman Pro-Ams and was able to beat Hansen on a restart there at Watkins Glen in spectacular fashion. And there was an emotional victory lane for sure. In the meantime, she's going to try and add to that tally this weekend, but first she's going to try and get a little bit closer on overall lap time as she comes down to finish the first sector, and I'm not showing improvement.
What I'd be really curious about is if we can hop back on board for the final section of corners, especially coming down the hill. I'm really curious to see how much Lonnie's going to be lifting going down the hill. Ashley, to your point, like these GT4 cars, they're pretty much flat down the hill here, but track conditions, weather, it all kind of changes, and it always is sketchy with how fast you're coming down here.
Yeah, I'd imagine. I mean, the weather's pretty nice this morning. Cool air, warm sun. So hopefully with those fresh Yokohama stickers, you can definitely be flat through this final corner. But it's hard to say. I haven't driven this car around this track before. We'll see what Lonnie does here. Oh, she does lift quite a bit. So, and the reason for that mainly is to dive the nose of the car down to help the front tires turn into the corner. Got Erica coming down across start finish. She had actually a better lap that time, so she brought it down to about 0.4 of a second behind Hansen. So Erica is really feeling good at this racetrack. Cool to see.
I'm impressed. Yeah, she's stepped it up. Seems to really jive with this place, and like you said, improving that last lap by. Gets closer, even though she doesn't take another spot on the grid. Looks like she might be easing off this lap, though, from what we're seeing as she comes down the hill.
Definitely on a cool-down lap right here. So she was able to go out there, improve the lap time, prove to herself that she is a little bit faster than what that earlier lap time showed. And I think it's important, too. We've been talking about the 2 qualifying laps. You got to get both of them in. So if you've already got, call it a P2 on the board, and you feel like you can improve on that, I mean, why not?
And speaking of improving, Lonnie Unser just had her best Sector 1 on this lap, so she is not giving up. Oh, and her best Sector 2 as well, so let's make sure she can put this all together and see where she ends up.
This is going to be critical here. It's already showing good signs coming through that final chicane. And with Hoffman, the only other car out there, that's the only changes we will see because nobody else will be able to get out to start a lap from here with only a minute left. She crosses the timing line, and she gets within 100th of Keith Grant, but stays in 4th. Still, she was quicker.
It's pretty crazy how close these lap times are. I mean, on the timing and scoring ticker on the top left of the screen, you can see Erica Hoffman, call it half second back from our pole sitter of Jens Hansen, but look at how close everybody is stacked up behind that number 21 car. I can't wait till we get these things green flag in the race later this afternoon. It is going to be one big pack.
And it looks like Erica has brought the car in, so now it is all down to Lonnie Unser, our last car. She is able to complete this lap, but it's going to be the last one. But she did not improve on her personal best in Sector 1. 2 sectors left to go, still chances.
It was about 0.2 of a second off in Sector 1. It was a 34.5 compared to last lap, a 34.3. And now we officially have the checkered flag out. She will be able to complete this lap time because she started it before the time ended in the session. So certainly looks like she will finish this one out.
It's not improving on the second sector, although I think it's about 0.4 off the overall best. I wouldn't be surprised if she brought it down into pit lane here because It's not looking like she's improving.
Yeah, and she already knew it coming out of turn 10A, 10B. These drivers have so much information on those dashes, and she can look down, see that the delta is not where she needs it, and simply says, you know what, time to save these tires for the race.
All right, so our qualifying is over for the Cayman Series here in Porsche Sprint Challenge North America. Jens Hansen has put it on the pole. Erica Hoffman will be starting on the front row. That might be one of her first front row starts. I'll have to double check. Keith Grant will be P3, and our Masters pole sitter with Lonnie Unser in 4th and Anna Checki in 5th. Spencer Proper will wind up 6th today. Then it's Bill Fennick in P7. David Grant will be starting from 8th, Elaine Scalzo in 9th, and Cody Knight will be in 10th. From there, it is Gary Buffkin in 11th. Roland Crines will be starting in 12th, and Joe Rizzo 13th. Rob Trollinger P14, Reggie Tartaglione in 15th. Bill Pelichewski, unfortunately, with an incident, did not get to set a time and will be 16th. We did not see times from Greg Checki or Dan Ammon in this session. Up next, we have the USA West Series starting their qualifying. Stick around. We've got more to come here at Road America.
It's hard to contain your excitement when you get something you've really wanted. Like the gold standard in automotive protection, WeatherTech floor liners. With deep sculpted channels and laser measured for total protection in the front, back, and even up the sides.
Dad, you're going viral.
What? WeatherTech me.
So don't be shy, enjoy. Order your premium American-made products at WeatherTech.com.